All right, so next we have Jacob performing 60 seconds on the assault bike for max calories. And just for context, Jacob came in at about 35 calories over those 60 seconds.
Okay.
So let's, before we press play, give us some insight into what we should be looking for and what we should be seeing in this video.
Man.
Last time I did this test, James, was 2013, 14. And I was on the ground with my feet elevated for like 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
Like no shit, 3 hours, feet elevated, couldn't function.
Yeah.
So
great lead in though, because
Jacob shows that.
A great lead in because it does talk about a number of things there. Number one, it's not suited for everyone, meaning if you don't get that response, it doesn't mean it was a wrong test, but you're not really getting much out of it. Number two, it does show is veracity a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows the veracity.
Yeah, like
the correct description
of
it. Like that, man, it's nasty.
Yeah.
It's also so beautiful because it's simple, right? There's no escaping it.
Yeah.
And also, the beauty around the test is that you could pace it. We're not going to say it you're not going to say it over our video, but yeah, you could choose to be that person who paces, and you won't get anything out of it. That's the thing. But when you rip the kimono off and you let it go on this, there's a really good test insight.
Yeah, we usually see with people that have a lot of power, we usually see like 75% of their calories accumulated in the first 30 to 40 seconds.
Yep.
And then the last bit is it's just hold on.
Yeah.
So you can see visually, you can see them running out of fuel.
Oh yeah,
right? You can see them running out of stores as they hit that 30, 40 second mark.
Yeah, and that's a great example because some people may think, well, that's not the way that 400 meter specialists approach it, right? And it's not. But for the audience that does this, we have analyzed this over and over. That's the best strategy because what happens in the accumulation of cals, if that's the end score, you actually need to almost get rid of all that CP ATP energy and gather enough total score and hoping and praying that when O2 debt occurs, you have some enzymes left to like put together manufacture 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Because we tried it multiple different ways, right? I'm just laughing with Danny Nichols doing multiple versions of that. You are right. It's better to just and let's be honest, it's not 100%. For the first 20 seconds. You're just revving really hot.
Yep.
And then the holy crap moment when you look down and see you got 38 seconds left, right? You're like, how is this going to happen?
It's almost like this. It's like, zzz, like you're feeling really good. You hit 20 seconds, you're like, I'm the strongest person in the world. And then it starts to go down. And you're like, oh my God, I don't think I can actually continue to pedal for the last 15 seconds.
And you find a way.
You figure it out.
You do figure out a way.
You go through mud for a little bit there.
Well, great add in to the metabolic component of this, right? So you have to have some of that fuel available, either through adrenaline, current sugar, or previous training, right? Whatever has got you there. And I would say adrenaline there too, because a lot of people have done this test off the street, right? Just for humor.
Yeah.
I remember Yasmani Grandal, a back catcher for the Dodgers. I almost ended him, but we shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Just be honest. I'll be completely honest. But man, he ripped that thing apart.
What was his score? Do you remember?
40s.
Yeah.
High 40s.
Yeah. So we usually see like if you're 50
and
plus
that was
if you're 50 plus on this, you're putting out some pretty good power.
Yeah.
But the most powerful people, you'll see them get 50 calories in 25 seconds. You know what I mean? So, and I was always like a 55 to 60, but I've seen like 70s to 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that even humanly possible? And what was Danny? Danny was like 80.
He used to get, I don't remember what the actual score was, and I apologize. I'm going to have to come back to Yasmani's too, because it's just to fairly add that in as the actual absolute score. I think it was high 40s. But Danny only tried to to get as many cals in order to win a bike.
Yeah.
Right. So
once he knew he won it, he would
stop.
Yeah.
And most people, but people would be like dying on there, right?
Yeah,
They'd pull someone out of the crowd, and this guy would be like, yeah, you know, I hit 60 cals.
Yeah.
And Danny would rip that thing apart and then go 61
in
like 38 seconds.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm out. It's the greatest stories.
Last
so I'm
piece
assuming,
before we.
I'm
Sorry,
assuming he's into the 70s.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
That's a different
mind-blowing.
level of power.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember watching.
Well, this is it to describe it. You think he's going to break the bike for a full half minute.
Yeah.
The whole half minute, you're like, it's going to explode.
Yeah.
He's going to rip that pedal off. Mm-hmm. You're saying that for the whole 30 seconds. Like when we hear you do it here, there's a couple of seconds where we're like, oof, I don't know if it's going to take it.
Yeah,
Imagine 30 seconds of that, right? It's like,
oh, man.
And we wonder why we beat them up.
Yeah.
Why those things fell apart.
Before we watch Jacob do this.
Assault Bike Chronicles. We need a book on that.
Oh, yeah.
We need to write a book
ABC.
on that. Oh, man. That's so good.
Emma, can we take that out so they don't steal that? That's too good. So before we watch Jacob do this, tell me the difference really quick between performing this test on the assault bike versus that rower standing up over there.
Oh, 60 seconds?
60 seconds, max
that's
meters
a
or
softball,
cals.
I would assume, unless you want me to go a different route on it. The bike allows a really fast turnover of really simple contractions. Yeah. So it takes out the technical component to be able to do the bike. That's why we love it. Like we say, the worst thing's going to happen for anyone on the bike is you're going to get tired. Mm-hmm. On a rower, the turnover and the friction and the technicalities may not allow people to get the highest dose response. Yep. Now here's where the arguments are, which are good ones. Bigger people, bigger humans, with great, exquisite row technique. Mm-hmm. They could possibly get a similar style of output for the human that's doing it, and they're generally muscle endurance aerobic monsters, right? And we don't want to argue that point either. Yep. And but they're technically really proficient. And they could get the same kind of dose response as generally measured, you know. Yeah. But that's why we like the bike. Instead, simple, controllable, easy contractions.
Yeah, the difference to me with the rower is that you can make 1 minute and 18 seconds per 500 feel sustainable for an amount of time, right? Like you're really powerful, you're really ripping that thing, you're taking a breath. You're taking a breath at the top. You're going back into the
some of the strokes you are.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you can't do that when you're at 115 RPM. No. It's like this is happening, and you could just feel the blood accumulating in that VMO in the quad. Like you can avoid that for an amount of time on the rower. So I think that's what the big difference is that you can keep strokes per minute fairly low and still put out a shit ton of power, but you can't do that on the bike. Like you can't keep RPM low and put out power.
It's just the contractions. The contractions are like for the rower. And this is like there's no little breaks in there. So
all right, let's watch Jacob do it.
Alrighty. Let's see if his beard is bigger once he's done.
Yeah, probably will be. He's ripping it. Yeah. He's giving it right now.
He did. And right there.
There, yeah, you start to see it go.
Yeah, what timeline is that? So that was like 15 seconds.
Yep. And for context, I don't think...
That's a nice little uptick there. See that? He dug in a little bit.
Yeah, how the hell did he do that?
Where's that? 25? This is the holy... If he opens his eyes, this is the worst moment. Let's see if he opens his eyes.
and looks at the screen. Right. He's got to be thinking.
He did. He's just there right there. 32 seconds.
Look
how much he slowed. Look how much he slowed.
Okay,
when you open your eyes at 30 seconds, he's at 40 right now. He's looked again. He's like, there's no way there's 40 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. He's like, how am I going to do this? They're filming me.
And from here forward, he loses reproductive capability. 10 seconds. Every second, he's losing reproductive capabilities as he goes through it. Oh, that's mud right there.
And he is finishing.
Man,
he's done.
You know, got to give it to him though. He did go 100% there for 60 seconds.
He ripped it.
He did do what you mentioned, go up really hard and then just try to figure it out.
Yeah.
He also humorously saw the 30-second like, oh, it can't be 30 seconds left. That's what you see, right? You're like, I've been working so hard and so fast because your rate is so high. Do you think it's really, really hot?
So usually what this these
Oof.
15,
See that face?
usually these 15 or 30 seconds, you end and
Yeah.
you're like, there's 15 seconds of like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then that hits.
Just about to say that it gets worse as time goes on. So these tests, whenever we do them on video, we should keep people, see, is he gonna go out and we're gonna stop it? But we should keep people on screen for 9 minutes. Oh, well, he hit the floor.
There, he's down.
Yeah. So that's oh good, we get some little shots of that. But it gives you an indication, you're basic in the recovery mode, which I guess is a whole other aspect of it. But this is a part of the energy system training aspect, right? It's not about the expression of the 60 seconds. It is possibly how well you recover from it that determines what you actually did there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And if it takes him a real long while to recover from that, that's probably a good sign that he went at the 60 seconds, Whereas if you
he actually went and did some BJJ an hour and a half or 2 hours later. So
that's good.
Yeah, I don't know if
good stuff.
I don't know if he.
That's a good time frame.
Yeah.
Now, and to your point, you mentioned of the 12.3 earlier, which is another 18-minute test dynamic contractions. Training of this would be, a lot less power put out in 60 seconds, rest 5 to 8 minutes and do it multiple times.
Yep.
Just so you can kind of get an idea, well, how would you train to get better at that particular thing? Well, it's not too hard. You just try to do 60 seconds repetitively, fairly hard, and then rest a good amount and just repeat that numerous times.
And that's just metabolically, you're trying to get that response and you're trying to get used to using that as a fuel source / having it in your blood.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise when it hits you here.
Yeah. So if you need it. Also on that is just for these videos, understanding assessment of energy system training. This assesses what we would call lactic threshold. So it moves from language of lactic power into lactic threshold, and so we call it lactic threshold testing. Let's say, just for if anyone's looking for classification purposes, and you should have some training ability and strength, practice on the bike, and have done at least some experiences with what we would call pain training prior to this.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're going to get hurt if you don't have any of that and you try this. You just won't get the right dose response. And we have actually a really good course on this online that you could go to for the salt bike energy system training under pain, and it would give you the answers for how you get better at it.
Awesome.